food. Prepare it incorrectly, and it can make us sick, or even worse. Food-related illnesses are on the rise, but many can be prevented. The preparation and cooking of food has changed dramatically over the last 100 years. We have learned to never leave frozen meat on a kitchen counter at room temperature to thaw. Scientific research has shown that improper food handling, preparation, storage, and even bad personal hygiene can and will result in food poisoning or a foodborne illness. Foodborne illnesses are commonly caused by bacteria and viruses and are defined as any illness that results from eating contaminated food. Symptoms of foodborne illness can include an upset stomach, abdominal cramps, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and dehydration. Symptoms can be mild, but sometimes severe enough requiring a stay in the hospital. Each year, the Center for Disease Control estimates that in the United States alone, foodborne illnesses cause nearly 180 million illnesses, almost 500,000 hospitalizations, and over 6,000 deaths. Good personal hygiene and proper food handling play an important role in the health and well-being of not only yourself, but to those whom you may serve. Many times, foodborne illness outbreaks are the result of contamination from those that handle the food. Sanitary food handling, proper cooking, and refrigeration should prevent most foodborne illnesses. Following proven guidelines as outlined in this video can help you and those you serve stay healthy. This training program will look at the following areas dealing with food handling safety: health codes, your personal hygiene, the steps to handling food safely, other safety rules when handling and preparing food. There are many ways in which food can become contaminated. As with any business, rules and procedures should be established, implemented, and followed. As part of this effort, health codes have been established and enforced. These health codes play an important part in keeping food safe for consumption. Most municipalities and state and local governments have set minimum standards for establishments that serve food to the public. The codes cover a wide variety of topics and are enforced on food service companies from a local hot dog stand vendor, food trucks, restaurants, and hospitals. Restaurants, institutional food service areas, establishments serving alcohol, and other eating and food preparation areas must comply with these local, state, and federal health department codes, numerous fire codes, smoking and alcohol regulations, and other laws as they relate to the food service industry. As a food service employee, you should understand and always follow these local health codes and implement them every time you prepare or serve food. Frequent and proper hand washing is one of the easiest and best ways to prevent foodborne illness. Your hands constantly build up germs during the day when you touch various surfaces, things, and other people. This can lead to contamination of yourself or the food you are preparing. Always wash your hands before and after preparing food. When working with food, you should always wash your hands anytime you touch a non-food item. It is important to note that even gloves you wear must be treated in the same manner as you would your hands, and should be washed or replaced if they become contaminated or are suspected of being contaminated. There are other instances when you should wash your hands, and which include after you handle money, after using somebody's credit card, after shaking someone's hand, before and after you eat, after using the restroom, after coughing, sneezing, or blowing your nose, after changing a diaper in a hospital setting, after cleaning a table or other surface, before and after treating wounds or injuries, before and after touching a sick or wounded person. Use your common sense. If you think your hands need to be washed, do it. Never take chances. It is important to wash your hands properly. The recommended procedure is to wet your hands with running water, apply soap, and lather well. Rub your hands vigorously for at least 20 seconds outside of running water. Scrub all areas, including under your fingernails, between fingers, and back of hands. Rinse well and dry hands with a clean towel. And it is recommended to use a towel to open the restroom door as you leave. Good personal hygiene is extremely important when working in the food industry. Some basic hygiene rules are to shower and wash your hair daily. Wear clean uniforms or clothing. Keep fingernails clean. Do not wear fingernail polish. Hair restraints should always be used. Limit jewelry to wedding bands. Remove other jewelry before starting work. Sneeze and cough into the bend of your arm. Move to a non-food area before sneezing or coughing. Do not touch your face, hair, or other parts of your body while working with food. Restrict bare hand contact with ready-to-eat foods and ready-to-serve foods. Use approved gloves for handling food items. Never eat, drink, or smoke in the food service or preparation area. Depending on your area of jurisdiction, you may be required to be vaccinated and wear a mask to work with food because of the coronavirus, COVID-19. If you test positive, do not go to work unless you have retested twice without symptoms. Preventing foodborne illness can be mostly achieved by following the guidelines contained in the 4 steps to food safety. The 4 guidelines are clean, separate, cook, and chill. Not only is it important for you to be clean, but your work area and adjacent work areas must also be kept clean. As stated earlier, hand washing is one of the best ways to prevent food contamination and poisoning. Thoroughly clean and sanitize boards, knives, food containers, countertop, and prep areas between food items, especially after preparing raw and uncooked items. Wash cutting boards with hot soapy water after each use, then rinse with clear water. Sanitize cutting boards with a solution of 1 tablespoon of liquid chlorine bleach to 1 gallon of water. Cover the surface with the bleach solution and allow it to stand for several minutes. Then rinse and air dry or pat dry with clean paper towels. Non-porous acrylic, plastic, or glass cutting boards and solid wood boards can be washed in a dishwasher. All cutting boards wear out over time. When a cutting board becomes excessively worn or develops hard-to-clean grooves, it should be discarded and replaced. Consider using disposable paper towels or special disinfecting wipes to wipe kitchen surfaces. If you use cloth towels, rinse and sanitize them often using the bleach solution in very warm water. Replace sanitizing bleach water often and replace towels as they become dirty. Wash dirty cloth towels in the hot cycle of washing machine daily. Rinse all fresh fruits, vegetables, and other food items as applicable with clean running tap water. Keep refrigerators, freezers, coolers, and walk-ins clean and sanitized. A cleaning schedule should be created, posted, and followed. Always separate food items to avoid cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is the transfer of harmful bacteria to food from other foods, cutting boards, utensils, etc., when they are not handled properly. Always use a clean cutting board. It is a good practice to use one cutting board for fresh produce and bread and a different one for raw meat, poultry, and seafood. By using different boards, the risk that raw meat, poultry, and seafood will contaminate foods that require no further cooking is reduced. As stated earlier, thoroughly clean and sanitize boards, including knives and prep areas between food items, especially raw and uncooked items. Never place cooked or ready-to-eat foods in or on a container that previously held raw meats, poultry, fish, or eggs. Use clean gloves, tongs, forks, spoons, paper, and other serving utensils. Never use your bare hands to handle or serve food. Replace gloves anytime they become contaminated from touching non-food items, such as your face, trash, preparation tables, or the floor. And it is very important to always serve food on a clean plate. Frozen foods should never be thawed on the counter or in hot water. There are 3 approved methods for thawing foods. The first method is to thaw in the refrigerator. This is considered the best method. Plan ahead, because depending on the frozen item, this may take a few hours or a few days. Place the item in a pan to contain any blood or juice that can drip as the item thaws. Place the item on the lower shelves. After thawing in the refrigerator, most foods will need to be cooked within 1 or 2 days. Another thawing method is to use running cold water. Place the sealed frozen item in a container that will allow total submersion and place in a sink. Turn cold water on so that a constant flow is running into the container. Water pressure does not have to be strong. Many foods can be thawed quickly this way. The last method for thawing is using a microwave. Food items defrosted in the microwave must be cooked immediately because some areas of the food might begin to cook during microwave defrosting. Use a properly designed food thermometer to measure the internal temperature of cooked foods, especially meat. Keep the thermometer calibrated for correct readings. Be sure to always clean the thermometer with hot, soapy water before and after each use. Raw meat and poultry must be cooked to a safe minimum internal temperature. Color is not a reliable indicator of doneness. Different meats are safe for consumption at different internal temperatures. When roasting meat and poultry, use an oven temperature no lower than 325 degrees. Roasts, steaks, and fish should be cooked to an internal temperature of at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit, poultry to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and ground beef to at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And finally, eggs should be cooked until their yolks and whites are firm. These temperatures are considered the minimum for safety purposes, but can vary as to the doneness required for quality purposes. Always follow cooking guidelines on recipes and packages. When using a microwave for cooking, keep in mind that most microwaves do not cook evenly. When microwaving, cover the food with appropriate covers and rotate for even cooking. If there is no turntable, stir and rotate the dish by hand once or twice during cooking to make sure it cooks to the same temperature throughout. Be careful when removing food from the microwave, as the dish may get hot. It is essential as a food preparer that you watch out for bacteria growth. Bacteria grow most rapidly in the range of temperatures between 41 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, doubling in number in as little as 20 minutes. This range of temperatures is often called the danger zone. Foods should never be held in the danger zone. If mishandled and left in the danger zone for too long, bacteria may grow and produce toxins, which can cause food poisoning. Some toxins are heat resistant and not destroyed by cooking. Some food items may not be safe to eat even after cooking to the proper temperature. Remove the smallest amount of food items possible from the freezer and refrigerator for prepping or cooking. This allows food to stay out of the danger zone until needed. Always marinate foods in the refrigerator, never on the counter in the danger zone. Marinade sauce that is used on raw meat, poultry, or seafood should never be used on cooked foods unless it is boiled just before using. Hold cooked hot foods in food warmers, steam tables, or on hot surfaces at temperatures of at least 141 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. A food warmer thermostat setting should be set higher than 141 degrees to allow for cooling of the warmer from being opened and shut. Be sure to turn on warming units early so that they are ready when you need them. Reheat leftovers to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Bring soups, gravies, and other sauces to a boil when reheating. Hold cold foods or leftovers in a refrigerated display case, in ice, or other approved method. Always hold refrigerated foods at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or less. Keeping foods cold or frozen is vital in preventing foodborne illnesses. Proper storage, cooling methods, and clean refrigerators and freezers are all important factors in food safety. When you receive a shipment of food from a supplier, unload perishable foods first and freeze or refrigerate immediately. Stored food should always be kept at least 6 inches off the ground. Never store them on the floor. Foods in the freezer should be kept at 0 degrees or below, and refrigerated product at 40 degrees or lower, but not below freezing. Air must be able to flow throughout the refrigerator for proper cooling. Keep refrigerator coils clean and never overload walk-ins. Place raw meat, poultry, and fish on bottom shelves. Items should be placed in leak-proof containers to keep blood and juices from dripping onto other foods or the floor. Cook or freeze all food within 2 days. Another common cause of foodborne illness, which is often overlooked, is the improper cooling of cooked foods. Even after food is cooked to safe internal temperature, bacteria can be reintroduced to the food and then reproduce. For this reason, cooked foods must be put in containers and refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking. The 6 steps to cooling food are: wash your hands. Place food in shallow metal pans not more than 2 inches high. Cut roast and turkeys into sections no larger than 4 inches. Place uncovered food items in cooler or refrigerator. Never let cooked food sit at room temperature for more than 2 hours. The quicker cooked food is refrigerated or frozen, the better. Leave space for cold air to circulate around the hot food pans. When food has cooled to below 41 degrees Fahrenheit, then cover it. If necessary, hot foods can be rapidly chilled in an ice bath before refrigerating by placing the pan of food into another container of ice. All food products, both fresh and leftover, should be covered tightly and clearly labeled with its name, date, time of preparation, and expiration date. There are additional safety rules you should follow. You must properly rotate the stock. Use the first in, first out, or FIFO method to ensure freshness of all product. When using an automatic dishwasher, make sure it is working properly, water temperature is correct, and final rinse has the proper concentration of chemical sanitizer. Regularly scheduled maintenance is a must, and many jurisdictions have inspectors that will view maintenance logs during an inspection. 3-compartment sinks must be correctly used. Wash in the first sink, rinse in the middle sink, and sanitize in the last sink. Check often to ensure the proper concentration of sanitizer is being used. Rodents, bugs, and other insects are not only bad for business, but can be bad for your health and can carry diseases. For pest control, it is generally best to utilize the service of a professional pest control company. Keep dumpster lids closed and the surrounding area clean. Food safety is easy if you follow the rules. If you don't think you have the time, then think again. Always follow food safety procedures when you prepare a meal. It is an important part of your job. Always keep your hands clean, including gloves you may wear. Dispose of trash properly. Someone's health, your company's profits, and your employment may depend on it. Take a few minutes more to do the job right. A meal prepared correctly and served with safety in mind is one that everyone can feel better about. Always work safely.